Hi guys, it's Kathy. I hope you're doing well. Vazzy did try to call me earlier to get me up, and I didn't hear it. I didn't hear anything. I did hear my cat saying that he was hungry. That woke me up. Though, nope, don't say that here. Anyway, don't worry. The cat has food now. Everybody, calm down. The cat is eating food. Michael McDonald. We're gonna do about an hour of Michael McDonald, an hour of OJ, and then I will see you all later today. 1 o'clock ish. 1 o'clock. We're gonna have a great day. I hope you all can make it, but I understand if you can't because it's. I didn't consult you before I decided to do a daytime live stream. I didn't check your calendars or anything. I just put it up there. So if you can't make it, don't worry about it. But it is good. Bonjour. Charlotte's here. Maybe Cha will come today too. Maybe. All right. Here we go. Fozzie, thank you for calling. I saw you text message me, but I was trying to get my stream together. I'll reply in a second.
You recognize these things? This is the one for me. Start May 1st, please. Right, I'm showing state's proposed exhibit 5. You recognize these things?
I do.
And what do you recognize them to be?
The first stack here are emails between myself and Candace McDonald. It's Mr. McDonald's ex-wife. And that is followed by emails that I received from Mr. McDonald with links to his Google Drive. Three separate emails, 3 separate links.
All right, now our state's proposed exhibit 5 is simply the email between yourself and Mr. McDonald?
Correct.
Okay. And are these a fair and accurate copy of what you printed from your Gmail account?
Yes.
Okay, they are. Move for admission to state's 5.
Any objection?
No objection.
It will be admitted. Thank you.
Publish?
You may publish it.
Okay. What do we see on the screen here, Mark?
This is the first email from Mr. McDonald, July 17th, 8:25 p.m. And it is a link he shared with me to have access to the appeals folder in his Google Drive.
Okay, was that the only folder he shared with you?
No.
Okay, go on page 2 of State's Exhibit 5. What's this?
This is the second link he shared to a document called the divorce chronologue, chronology of events in his case.
Okay, is that a document or a folder?
That looks like it's just a separate document.
Okay. And then the last page of State's Exhibit 5. What is that?
And that's the third and final link, and that is to a folder called Court Videos.
Okay, so that one appears to have come to you at 7:45 p.m. on the 16th of July, 2017.
Correct. So that one would have come, looks like prior to the other two.
So again, back to chronological.
You got it, yep, correct.
7:57, second page, 8:25 p.m. the first page.
Yes.
And at the time that you received these, be it July 17th of 2017 in the late evening, did you start to look at the materials then and there?
I did.
Okay. Did you look at everything that was in the drives at that time?
No.
Okay. Was there only a small amount of information or a large amount?
There was a large amount of information in these folders.
Okay. Folders are names, there's two folders and there's one document here. One says appeals, the other says what's court videos,
Mhm.
and then one of them is a document. Were the materials in this appeals folder something related to appeals?
To the best of my recollection, yes. It was the hearing videos folder that had a whole lot more. I did not spend a whole lot of time in the appeals folder.
Okay. Court videos folder,
Yeah.
was it simply court videos?
It was not, no.
Okay, what kind of stuff was in there?
There was just about anything and everything. There was screenshots that Mr. McDonald had taken of his ex-wife's journal and diary. There were court videos, there were hearing videos, there were audio recordings, there were telephone recordings, some snapshots that made no sense. I didn't, in July of 2017, I genuinely just wanted to see his hearing videos, kind of fill in the blanks of what he hadn't shared. So I noticed all of this, didn't really pay much attention to it. The only thing I really looked at was the hearing videos.
Okay.
But within that folder, there was a whole lot more.
What was the point of giving you the links to these particular materials?
Well, I'd asked for them, and I think that, at the time, Mr. McDonald wanted people to know what was going on in his case. He wanted opinions, he wanted feedback.
Okay. Did you give feedback?
I did.
Okay, what was your feedback?
Well, after watching the hearing videos that weren't shared online, and then many of those did follow later. Throughout the rest of 2017, Mr. McDonald was actively discussing his case, actively sharing materials, posting more videos. What would happen is, once you watch these hearings in chronological order, you quickly learn that what's actually happening in that case, in that courtroom, is not what Mr. McDonald is telling people is happening.
Okay, so you changed your perspective on the matter.
Drastically, yeah.
Did you indicate that to Michael?
I did.
Was he agreeable, or did you guys have some conversation about that?
Agreeable, no. Confrontation, no. Actually a lot of people, myself included, in Nevada court watchers, tried to help Mr. McDonald with his case. Because what was happening in that case was that Judge Marquis, again,
No question.
That's fine. We'll move on.
All right. Please sustain.
You said that you didn't go through absolutely everything in those folders night one, correct?
correct.
Okay. Did it take you a while?
A long while, yeah.
Many months?
Yes.
Sure. When we get into 2018, so you got this in the summer of 2017, we get to 2018. You said Michael McDonald had been utilizing YouTube to try to post videos?
Correct, yeah.
Okay. Did he post anything of interest in February of 2018?
Yeah, in February of 2018, there was a video that Mr. McDonald posted to YouTube. And it was produced with some, you could tell it was produced with some software that mixes photos with sound, with video clips, like an Animoto or a Filmora free download that will produce these videos for you. And a video appeared on YouTube on his channel where he was disparaging his ex-wife. There were recordings of phone calls.
Production, foundation.
Okay, do you know whenabouts this was? We were established. I was asking you about February of 2018.
Yeah.
Okay, so hold on, that can be sustained. You can ask your next question.
Okay. And with regard to this video, you were talking about recordings of telephone calls.
Yes,
Were you familiar with who the parties were in these phone calls?
I was.
And who were they?
It was Mr. McDonald and his ex-wife, Candace.
Were these complete phone calls?
No.
Starting with a hello and ending with a goodbye or see you later?
No, these were 3 or 4, maybe 5 different recordings, but they started kind of mid-call. It was not a start to finish type. Not a complete call.
Okay. So portions of telephone calls.
Yeah.
And you said there was like an Animoto, like a slideshow?
Exactly, yeah, a slideshow that, you're hearing the audio in the background, of these phone calls and these recordings, and then you're seeing pictures. Pictures of Mr. McDonald with his children. And then, so, you would have this kind of narrative or this presentation of super dad, kind of super dad, and then evil ex-wife. Pictures from his ex-wife's journal, or private.
Mr. DeCiro, I'm having you describe the YouTube video. I haven't shown you the YouTube video. Is there a reason why that's not possible?
That is not possible, yeah, correct, it's not, because it was taken down shortly after it was posted.
Okay. And where did this video,
I looked for it. I couldn't
was
find
this
it.
posted by any particular individual?
It was posted directly by Mr. McDonald.
Objection, foundation, how does he know we're foundation for this?
Okay. When we talked about,
Overruled, you can cross-examine him on that.
when we talked about YouTube previously, do you need to post things to one's channel? So, for example, if you had a channel on YouTube, would it be called Mark DeCiro's channel or whatever you decide to call your channel?
Correct, yeah,
And when you post things to YouTube, they would probably come up on that channel?
it would.
So where was this particular video posted?
Michael McDonald's YouTube channel.
Okay. And are you aware of any other people that had access to posting or taking down things from Michael McDonald's YouTube channel?
No,
Did you have conversations at all throughout your dialogue with Mr. McDonald about him posting or taking things down?
I don't know about a direct dialogue with him, but through the Nevada Court Watchers page, which at this point had become very interested in his case. Because again, he was asking for input and advice and so forth. Our page was talking about his case.
Narrative testimony, and there's no question.
The objection is overruled. He's finishing his answer. You need to finish
That's
your answer.
disgusting.
So the case was talked, or the case was talked about a lot on Nevada Court Watchers. So when I saw the YouTube video, and I don't think I was the only one in the group, a couple of us posted the link to it, shared the link to the YouTube posting of Mr. McDonald, and said this is problematic for several reasons. He's sharing a lot of intimate.
Objection, hearsay.
I think he's getting communicated with Mr. McDonald about this particular video.
Again, it's overruled. You may answer.
Sorry, where?
You were talking about how the video was problematic and you were communicating.
Yeah, so, there were some very disturbing things that he was saying about his ex-wife.
Objection, narrative testimony. Ernest just can't get up and say whatever he wants to, whatever pops in his head.
Mr. Mueller, you have no speaking objections. That is overruled, however, unfortunately, the interruptions, I think, have kind of taken us off course. If you could perhaps re-ask the question.
I think my original question was, had you had any dialogue with Mr. McDonald about him posting or removing things
Snoopy, hi
from YouTube?
Snoopy.
Could be either of those scenarios.
Directly with him, no. Through Nevada Court Watchers, yes.
Had he ever posted anything on Court Watchers, for example, come check out the video I just posted?
He was an active member of Nevada Court Watchers, as was Candace, his ex-wife. The extent of what he posted, I don't recall.
Did he ever post-
He certainly participated in the page.
Did he ever post links to things that he had put on YouTube?
I think he did. Yeah.
Now, when you saw the video that was on Michael McDonald's YouTube channel, the one with the photo montage and audio recordings, was any of that material familiar to you?
It was. That's when the light bulb goes off, and I'm trying to figure out where have I seen this material before? How do I know of it? And what really triggered that for me was the audio recordings.
On what basis?
Question was it familiar to you? The answer is yes, it was. Now he's
That's
going on.
overruled, Mr. Mueller. He can explain his answer. He can explain your
Can you repeat the
answer.
question? I'm sorry.
Sure. Were you familiar with what was in that YouTube video from some other source of information?
With the, yeah, okay, so, the light bulb goes off. I've seen some of these screenshots before. I'm aware of some recordings, but where? What was through the Google Drive link that he shared. with me in July of 2017. We're now talking February 2018, so it's been a few months. And I remember those things existing on his Google Drive, not things that I really looked at or checked out, because I just wanted to see the internet videos. So at that point, I kept those emails.
Jailbait
I'm
security.
thinking, I wonder if these links still work, and sure enough, they did. And so all the material he put in that Animoto video, all the screenshots, all the pictures, the audio recordings, all those files, all that material was in his Google Drive that he had shared with me.
Okay. So you verified that?
Yes.
And did you retain copies of the phone calls? Or download them or whatever,
Eventually, yeah.
eventually?
And I also yeah, I did.
Now, with regard to you saying there's something seriously wrong with this video, did you point that out to Mr. McDonald?
I did. On
How
Nevada
did you do that?
On Nevada Court Watchers, I posted, some other members posted, that, A, it's just dirty. You know, it's not cool by any stretch.
You may.
Definitely.
Without giving you your opinion on the morality of the video, did you communicate that you felt there was something wrong with this video to Mr. McDonald?
Yeah, so aside from morality, there was some dialogue about the legality of recording phone conversations in a two-party consent state.
So you communicated that to him?
Yeah, well, again, not to him directly, on Nevada Court Watchers.
Okay, so you posted it out in the open where Michael could see that
Yes,
in the forum that you know him to frequent?
correct.
Now, I'm not exactly sure how the forums work, but is there a thread on a subject? So would there be a sub-forum for the Michael McDonald case, or how does that work?
No sub-forums, kind of a free-for-all. Any post that people want to comment on, they can do that. Threads form underneath that post. But it's certainly not a dedicated part of the page to his specific case.
At any time leading up to this, did you know a person by the name of Candace McDonald?
Yes,
Did you, I mean, when I say no, I guess I should be more specific. Did you have any communication with her?
when this was happening in 2018, 2017, yes.
Before the video was posted by Mr. McDonald?
Yes.
Okay, and how did that come about?
Candace had become a member of Nevada Court Watchers. I don't know this, I think that she just, saw that the case was being talked about.
Objection, hearsay, and speculation.
That's not often for the truth, it's how he came to know Candace.
That's the rules.
She joined the page, as did Mr. McDonald. She communicated about the case. She participated, not nearly as often as Mr. McDonald, but I think she was, yeah. So that's how I became aware of Candace, and that's how I became to know Candace. I did not know her prior to any of that in 2017.
Did you know her personally?
No.
As a, associate, friend, anything like that?
No.
No. Okay. Did you have any communication with Miss Candace when that video was posted?
I did.
And how did that come about?
Well, initially it was on Nevada Court Watchers, like we just talked about, and then I also messaged her
I don't know,
privately, either
Anthony.
through Messenger or by text message or something, saying,
That seems just a tiny bit expensive for me. £4 I might go 35, but 45 might be a little too much.
hey, these phone calls are in the Google Drive link that was shared with me, that now appeared in the video that's on YouTube, and I reached out to her out of concern.
Okay. You already testified about Michael having reviewed that video shortly thereafter? Is that
Correct.
Was that after criticism of the video or before?
It was immediately after criticism of the video, specifically criticism of the legality of recording phone calls in Nevada.
Was something similar to that video ever reposted?
Yes,
And can you explain that?
the exact same video with the same recordings, same screenshots, was posted again 5 weeks later on YouTube by Mr. McDonald on Mr. McDonald's YouTube channel, with one slight difference in the video.
What was the difference?
The difference was inserted in the middle of these conversations, and to give context if I can, in these recordings, I don't know if they've been played for the court or if they're going to be played, her voice is very loud. Michael's voice is very low, it's very muffled in the recording. So in the recording, all of a sudden, is Michael dubbing in.
Objection.
Well, if you could describe it without using the word dubbing.
That's the state.
Okay. In the middle of the recordings, or in the middle of the video, within these recordings, is Michael all of a sudden telling Candace that she's being recorded.
Okay. And did that seem odd to you?
It did.
Why?
Because I have a radio background, I know a lot about editing.
That man is a rotten, low-down liar, guys. He is just a liar.
And the dubbing, it was a horrible attempt at dubbing. His voice was very low. When he's telling Candace that she's being recorded, it's all of a sudden very loud. It's almost overlapping his own words. So it would be, it was, and not to be rude,
Objection.
it was humorously,
Mr. Lucero,
Is that
what is the legal basis for
not noticed
objection?
as an expert witness giving his opinion on technical matters?
That's overruled. Mr. Lucero, you can testify as to what you witnessed, what you saw, what you heard.
Now, going back to the earlier point, so the video now has been
I'm
posted
talking
for,
about his client,
second time
Michael.
with some addition,
He's a
correct?
liar.
Correct.
The recorded phone calls, did they ever feature any kind of advisement of somebody being, hey, this is being recorded? Something from Mr. McDonald
Michael McDonald.
conveying to Candace that it was in fact being recorded?
in the second video in March of 2018, yes.
But what about on the recorded phone calls that were in Google Drive?
Not at all.
None of them?
No.
And you checked those phone calls before the second video was posted?
I was talking about Michael McDonald, not the guy in the stand. Michael McDonald, he's a liar. I can't believe he did that.
I did.
And they weren't in there then?
The phrase "are being recorded"? No, absolutely not.
At some point, you said 5 weeks later. We were already talking about February is when the original YouTube posting happened, February of 2018.
Yes.
So you're talking about sometime mid-March is when the second version of the video was posted?
Yeah, early to mid-March.
Does that video stay up for long?
It did, yeah,
Okay. Does it eventually get taken down?
eventually. And when, I'm not sure. I can't tell you.
Did you have communication with Miss Candace McDonald when these events were happening?
Yes.
Did you provide her copies of the phone calls that you had seen in the Google Drive of Mr. McDonald?
Yes.
Yeah, first.
You may.
And what's the program question?
Go ahead and approach first. Let's see where we are.
Hey, Rose. My middle name is Rose, and I live in Lancaster. Pittsburgh, Lancaster. Pittsburgh, Lancaster. And Scrapville is delicious.
This is a CD of the audio recordings that we listened to in your office and that of Ms. Michelin.
Okay, and what are the recordings of?
These are the recordings that were in Mr. McDonald's Google Drive, the phone calls, and the recordings that appeared in that YouTube video.
Okay. And is this a fair and accurate copy of those recordings?
Yes.
Is there any, I guess, handwriting that you put on this disc to verify that you in fact verified that?
My name is here, and the date is January 3rd, 2020. Looks like Candace's signature is also on here with the same date.
Okay, did you do that after listening to the recordings?
Yes, I did.
Move permission and state the vote to one.
Any objection?
No objection.
All right, you will be so admitted. Because I didn't have counsel approach the bench.
Lots of Amish in Lancaster, but not on my street. No.
All right, so that
We have electricity.
it will be admitted. We do have a question from the jury. To the zero. In the second video, did Candace acknowledge being recorded?
She did not. No.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we're actually going to take our lunch break now. It's kind of a natural breaking point before we continue with the presentation of evidence. It is about 12:25. We're going to break for an hour and 15 minutes. So we'll be back here at 1:45. During this lunch recess, you're admonished not to talk or converse amongst yourselves or with anyone else that is subject connected with the trial, or read, watch, or listen to any report of or commentary on the trial or any person connected with the trial, but any media information, including without limitation, newspapers, television, radio, or internet, or form or express any opinion on any subject connected with this trial until the case is finally submitted to you. So we'll be in recess until 1:45, and we'll see you then. Enjoy your lunch break.
All rise for the jury.
All right, let the record reflect that the jury has left the courtroom. Mr. Desir, you're still under oath. Like the parties, I've instructed you shouldn't have any contact with the jury or anyone else from the court during the pendency of this trial. Yes, Mr. Mayor.
I wish.
Circumstances, this case may be split to be admonished.
I wish, Monica. Thank you.
Yes, you are currently still under oath and still what we'll call live witness. So please don't discuss your testimony with anybody during this lunch break as well. Okay, so we can come back. Everyone be back about 1:40, where we can settle in and we'll just resume the question at that time. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Is everyone then?
Court is in recess.
Oh, are we going to see the wife testify?
Complained repeatedly about this, but in this case and the other one. I would gonna ask if you
My coffee's here, so just be good. I'm only going to the door. It's right there.
could come up with some measure which Mr. DeCero actually just answers questions instead of getting up there and expounding on whatever comes into his mind. He's at least on 4 or 5 occasions gratuitously said improper and inflammatory things about Mr. McDonald. And if you know, almost was, after that comment about it was dirty stuff, I almost asked for a mistrial. I believe we're getting very close to it on several key points here. I don't fault my colleague. I've been complaining about bias in this case and the motive that got it started since it began. I know my colleagues not in complete control of Mr. DeCero, but I'd ask that you admonish Mr. DeCero and the state to just answer the questions he's asked.
All right, so I will remind Mr. DeCero to answer the questions that he has asked. And I appreciate your concern. Many of the responses he was giving seem to be narrative responses to the questions that were asked. And I understand that you don't necessarily like the answers that are given, but that's why I continue to ask for a legal basis to sustain any objection that would be to improper testimony. So I will caution him to answer the questions. I would ask Mr. Rahman to remind him to answer the questions, and if he starts to go afield, to perhaps redirect him back to the question at hand.
Sure.
I don't believe there has been any prejudice so great that would lend itself to a mistrial at this point. But I also don't find that the evidence is so great that there is something else that needs to be done. Certainly, we're not done with the testimony, we're going to trial. And you can propose a jury instruction if you'd like, Mr. Mueller, and I will consider that to give, at the time you give jury instructions, or if it continues, another instruction mid-trial. Which reminds me, I do need your instructions by tomorrow at noon, your jury instructions.
Thank you.
Okay?
So I'll get them knocked out about 1 a.m. this morning.
Okay, no, that's how it goes when you're in trial.
Hi, Kiki.
All right, is Mr. Disser outside?
You should
We're
be.
going to grab him, put him on the stand, and we'll bring the jury in. Oh, I don't know where Brett is. Oh, okay. So I might want to step out and grab him with you. Oh, thank you. I'll go back and you can take the witness stand. Thank you. All right. You must be waiting for the jury still.
Yes, sir. Coffee's good. Coffee's all I need.
Jury's all present, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. Please be seated. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Lucero, remind you that you're still under oath.
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Rahman, you can proceed with your examination. When you're ready.
Mark, when we vote, I would like to play State Exhibit 1, which is the recording. You choose the Michael Fulbright, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And that's publishing through the court's audio system, State Exhibit 1. All right, so Mark, I'm not going to play the entire recording of each one. I'm just going to play, I don't know, 10, 15 seconds of the beginning of each clip, so you can verify this is in fact what you heard in his drive and provided on word to law enforcement, okay?
Okay.
So I'm playing from clip 1 of State's Exhibit 1.
Hi, Walter.
Yes, why are you calling?
Listen, can you please just pay your portion of the...
So Mark, is that one of the calls that was located in Michael McDonald Google Drive?
It is.
Actually, Judge, like a foundation, assumes facts not evidence. And we'll establish that that's a phone call, period.
Or is that one of the audio recordings that you located in
Hi,
Michael
back.
McDonald Google Drive?
Yes.
All right, for the record, that objection was sustained but clarified by Mr. Rahman. You may proceed.
Playing what's been labeled as 02, call number 2, or audio number 2.
Yes.
Why did you cancel the appointment?
Yes, criminal trial.
Michael,
Yes.
you didn't tell me that you were making an appointment for her. And what is the point of going in there?
I want to make
Now
sure.
Marcus, is that one of the audio files that was located in Michael McDonald Google Drive?
Yes.
Okay. Playing file number 3.
I've done it already.
I promise you, Peter, it's moved at all.
Okay, are you going to take child support like you're supposed to? Are you going to return my journals and my fucking grandmother's stamp?
Mark, is that one of the audio recordings that was located in Michael McDonald Google Drive?
It is, yes.
Okay. Playing V number 4.
And do what the judge asked you to do. And if you can't do that, then you will only see them the second and fourth weekend of the month.
I'm not going to accept what the judge.
Mark, is that one of the audio files that was located in Michael McDonald Google Drive?
Yes.
And the final one, number 5.
They have to give you 2 weekends a month. It's almost impossible. But guess what?
Yeah,
They gave it to me because they see what an unhealthy...
And is that one of the audio files that
Wawa
you found in Michael
coffee.
McDonald Google Drive?
Wawa.
Yes.
It's very good.
Now, if I could, I'd like you to explain how these end up getting in the possession of law enforcement. How are these provided to the police?
Sure. So, after the first YouTube post in February of 2018, After I realized those audio recordings were in the Google Drive, I let Candace know that the links were shared with me, that the recordings that were used in that YouTube video that Mr. McDonald had produced came from that Google Drive. She needed to be aware of those.
Well, let me ask you a quicker, clearer question. Do you have contact with a officer of the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department at some point?
Yes,
And is that Detective Colby Karshner?
it is, yes.
And regarding Detective Karshner, were you the one who originally called him?
No,
Okay. Did somebody else call him?
yes.
Did you end up contacting Detective Karshner, or did he contact you?
He contacted me.
Okay. And do you remember when about that would have been?
Would have been shortly after, let me think about that.
I got no snow.
In March was the reposting of
lots
the
of
video,
rain.
so it was after March. I'm guessing about April or May of 2018.
For indulgence.
Jen. Hi, Jen. Hi, Rose.
Sure. May I first witness?
Yo, wait. Don't give her those documents. Make sure he didn't alter anything while he was looking at them. Double check that.
Mark, I mistakenly handed this to you earlier at this point, but I'm handing to you now. It states proposing Exhibit 2. Does this relate to what we're talking about?
Yes, these are email exchanges between myself and the detective, sharing the audio files. This is in April of 2018.
Okay. And leaf through it, make sure that this is an accurate copy of those things.
I'm not off today. I don't work today, but I'm not off today because we have a special live stream coming up today around 1 o'clock. It's a couple hours long, guys. It's long, so it's so good. And this coffee that I'm drinking is so good. It just hit my soul right there.
Yes,
Okay.
it is.
So is this correspondence between you and Detective Karchner?
Yes,
Is it a sharing of the audio files that you obtained to the detective?
yes, it is.
And in the back, are there other materials that you sent him?
Yes, there was a voluntary statement he had asked for that I prepared and attached that document to the email.
Okay. And is this an accurate copy of a printout of the correspondence from your email account?
Yes.
Can I move for admission to?
Any objection?
No objection.
Exhibit will be admitted. How many pages is it, Mr. Roman, for the record?
Okay. Ten pages.
All right, thank you.
Permission to publish?
You may.
All right, Casey. I'm going to try again. Here we go. Wish me luck.
Okay, we're looking at the first page of State's Exhibit 2. What are we looking at?
Email from myself to Detective Karchner, dated April 12th, 2018, 8:19 p.m. And this is the first, it's attached as the first recording.
Okay, did you send that unsolicited to him, or did he ask you for it?
He had asked for it.
And then there's something, so it says to Colby Karchner, and there's an email address, right?
Yes,
And then there's a BCC under it. Who's that?
that is Candace's email address,
Okay.
Candace McDonald.
Is BCC known as blind carbon copy?
Yes.
Okay. What is the reason that you attached Candace on this correspondence?
Candace had initially reached out to the detective, and I just wanted Candace to be in the loop on all the communications I had with the detective.
Okay. What is the attachment to this particular email?
It is the first recording that you had played just a few minutes ago, in an M4A format.
Okay, what is an M4A?
Honestly, I'm not real sure. I don't know.
Okay. It's got a musical note on the icon, right?
Yeah,
What does that mean?
it's an audio file, and it's a specific format of an audio file.
Okay. In your, and then if we go on to page 2, is that another recording being sent?
That is number 2, and it's being sent as an MP3 file.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Casey.
What about the third page?
Recording number 3 of 5 in an MP3 format.
Okay. And then page number 4?
It's like we skipped to number 5 there.
Okay.
Recording number 5, MP3.
The next one?
And then 6, recording number 6, MP3.
And the last one?
Recording number 7, MP3.
And then what is the, I think this is the 6th page in the document.
Yes, this is an email to Detective Karchner. Candace is BCC'd on this email.
So did
There's a
State
link
Guy.
to Mr. McDonald's Google Drive, one of the links that he'd sent me in July of 2017.
And next page?
This is an email from Detective Karchner to me.
Oh, sorry. Couldn't tell the jury couldn't see that. Okay, my apologies.
Looks like he's responding to the voluntary statement that I had sent to him. He's thanking me for sending it. So it looks like, oh no, I'm sorry. He's sending me a copy of the voluntary statement to fill out.
Okay, so that blank voluntary doc X, that's just like a form?
That's a Microsoft Word, form for me to open on my end and fill out.
Okay. And then down at the bottom of this page, what is that?
That is me attaching the statement that I had prepared for Detective Karchner, and then a zip file of all the recordings. Zip being a format where you can condense the recordings into a smaller size and send them all at once,
Okay.
and they can be opened on the other end and in their original form.
And then there's some correspondence on the 9th page, in the middle, between the detective and yourself regarding playability of a recording.
Yeah, April 12th from Detective Karchner. Got my voluntary statements. The only thing that would open for me is the illegal recording MPEG file. Maybe if you can reformat the others to MPEG, I could open the rest. So he was having problems opening the audio files in the format which I sent them.
Like the N4A one?
Yeah,
Okay. Did you end up converting audio files to the detective so that he could play them?
I did.
And how did you do that?
I had a software program on my computer. It's called Wondershare. It converts audio formats. It converts video formats.
Okay. And then on the last page, page 10, there's more correspondence between yourself and the detective, right?
Yes. And he says, go ahead, sorry.
Go ahead.
On April 13th, he says, okay, that seems to have worked. I can now play all the files. Thank you for your assistance in time. And then underneath that is one sent from me at 7-Eleven, just FYI, and I'm not sure what's attached there.
Looks like it's a forwarded message or something.
Okay. Yeah,
Okay. So this is the bulk of the correspondence between you and the detective,
it is.
and you attached all the audio files that you had seen.
Correct.
Now, that program that you used to convert the audio files, you said it was Wondershare?
Yes.
Does that have any, do you have any ability with that to cut portions of the calls out?
No.
Okay. So is it a simple file conversion?
It's a simple file conversion that I originally got to convert my family court hearing videos because I have a Mac. Those hearing videos are in a Windows media format. So I needed to convert those to a format that Apple would play. So it was just to convert files, no editing, no opening, any of that.
Okay. Now, with regard to the YouTube videos that you discussed, there were 2 YouTube videos you say were posted on Michael McDonald's channel. his YouTube channel.
Yes.
And did you post some noting or links to those videos on the Court Watchers Facebook page?
On Nevada Court Watchers, yes.
Okay. Your Honor, we just need to make a quick redaction.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I know we just got back, but anyone wants to stand while we're doing this, you're welcome to take a little comfort stretch, especially after lunch. Sometimes it's good to stand up.
Yeah, I believe Mr. McDonald has an, sorry, Mr. Bueller has an objection, which
Already put our first event, we can make an adjustment. Wait, Mr. Bueller, your objection has been withdrawn. And what is this, Mr. Rollins?
this is the exhibit number 6.
Oh, thank you.
May I approach the witness?
You may.
Mark, familiar with this document? 2 pages.
Yes.
And what is it?
These are 2 posts, or screenshots, a post from the Nevada Court Watchers page with regard to the YouTube videos that we've been talking about.
Okay. Did you make these posts?
Yes.
And is there dates on when you made these posts?
Yeah, the first is February 5th. Doesn't indicate a year, but that would have been 2017, or 2018. And then the second is March 11th, also would have been 2018.
Are these fair and accurate copies?
Yes.
Not all heroes wear
Any
capes.
objections?
Not all
Those will be
heroes.
admitted.
Would you publish?
You may.
All right, so I'm showing you exhibit 6, first page.
Okay.
And is that what it looks like when somebody posts on a Facebook page for Nevada Court Watchers?
Yes.
Okay? And in this one, you stated not the path you go down a month before trial, they have to be an MVP of the Stevie Bowl. What do I know? What's the Stevie Bowl?
Innuendo on Nevada Court Watchers with regard to Steve Sampson,
Okay.
head of Veterans in Politics.
You don't particularly care for them, do you?
Not especially.
Okay. And then there's a link here.
Yes.
What is that link for?
That is the link to the first video that Mr. McDonald posted on YouTube. McDonald v. McDonald, better divorce with evidence.
Okay. So if somebody were to click on that, it would redirect them to the YouTube video?
It would.
And you posted this on February 5th.
Correct.
So that, is that around the time when that video was originally brought to your attention on YouTube?
Yes.
Okay. And then the second page. What is this?
This is a link to the second video.
Speaking of YouTube videos, if you're missing CJ, which we all are desperately missing CJ right now, it's been too long. Go here and you can listen to her read. You can just listen to her read to you, and then you won't miss her so much, but you'll still miss her.
It has the words "you're being recorded" now into the video. March 11th, 2018.
Okay, and you kind of give some commentary on why you think that is poorly done?
Yeah, so from a group member, if I remember right, another member of the Nevada Court Watchers told me about it.
Objection, you're saying?
This is Dave.
I have no idea what an EVU is.
Thank you.
I really don't. That's just weird. $63.70 if
The
you want
second part
one
is what you wrote, right?
Second part is what I wrote. Yeah,
So, but you posted the entire thing,
correct.
including a link to the second video.
Yes,
And this was posted March 11th, 4:40 PM.
correct?
So if we clicked on that link back then, it would take us to that video.
Yes.
I already asked you about whether you knew Candace prior to all this coming about. Is it true that you had a mutual friend of hers?
We did, yeah.
Okay, and who's that person?
Blair?
And what is Blair's role?
Blair is Blair is Candace's good friend, maybe best friend. Blair worked with me back in my radio days at Nix, 94.1. She was our show producer for a year, maybe 2 years.
Okay.
So Blair knew Candace. I did not, however.
Now that you, seeing how you have some experience in radio, in a radio show, especially like a morning show, there's often prank calls where somebody's employers call up or a loved one and it's all recorded. Isn't that recording a person's phone call without their knowledge or consent?
It used to be. It used to be before the two-party consent laws came into effect.
Okay.
So when that happened, the way we did radio shows changed dramatically. You couldn't do those types of calls anymore. They are still done now, but they're done with radio voice actors. So if you hear something on the radio where it's a prank and the personalities are calling out, like a War of the Roses type thing, or a whatever, a prank phone call trying to burn your buns, some shows call them, those are setups. Prior to two-party consent laws being adopted, we could do those without actors, without setting them up. It was okay to call out. We were told, however, when people were calling into the radio station, it was okay to record them and broadcast the call on the air. There was an expectation that they were being recorded when it was a contest or whatever. But when you're calling out, it was abundantly clear you have to get consent
So you're
before you
saying,
record.
you're saying nowadays when you listen to these prank calls, they're all staged, they're all fake?
They are
Okay.
one of the secrets of radio.
True. Very true.
Did you, in any point in this circumstance, when you're learning about all of this, having correspondence with Michael, did you hack into his Google Drive?
No,
Okay. Did you make any edits at all to any of these calls that you provided to law enforcement?
no.
Okay. Simply the conversion from a file format?
Yeah, conversion from the format that I had them in, or their original format, to the format that the detective could plug them in and hear them in.
And Judge, I'm about to pass the witness, but I think we have some jury
I
questions.
think so. You can pass any questions you have down to Marshall Stanley, please, and we'll have the parties approach the bench to discuss.
I thought they were going to play some of the tapes. Nancy, that's Kiki, Donald's daughter.
Mr. Cicero, we
We
have a
love her
question,
here.
and that is, when was the two-party consent law passed? If you know.
I don't know exactly. I can tell you that we had to get consent in the calls that we did on the radio, early 2000s. So I'm going to guess it was around that time, 2001, 2002. Honestly, I don't know. That's a guess.
Another question. Thank you.
Okay.
Parties can approach again.
We love Kiki because she takes care of Donald. And we love, 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 love Donald.
Okay. We have 3 separate questions for you.
Okay.
The first one is, with your knowledge of the two-party consent law, why did you not notify the police first?
I was prepared to. I wanted Candace to have the option to do that first. I wanted her to be comfortable with the way that it was handled. I wanted her to be okay with it. Had she not been, I think I probably would have respected her wishes, but I was concerned, but I wanted her in the loop and wanted to make sure it was something that she wanted.
All right, so that might actually answer the second question,
Okay.
which is, what purpose did it serve contacting Mrs. McDonald before the police?
That was just it. And you
It's still completely backwards security, but the doctors are going to try to turn it around this week.
know, just to clarify, it wasn't, Miss Candace and the group had interactions. Candace was a member of Nevada Court Watchers, so she was aware of what Mr. McDonald was posting. She was well aware of what was going on. She wasn't aware of the Google Drive link and what was on there and that kind of thing. So, yeah, again, it was just the courtesy of her having the final call on how to handle what happens next with this.
Okay.
Hi,
My
Raven.
last question, with your knowledge, were you the only one to convert the audio files for the detective?
Yes.
Any more questions? All right, I'm not seeing any. Thank you. Mr. Orman, you pass the witness.
Yes, I do.
Okay, Mr. Miller, pass it down when you're ready.
Mr. Cyril, how are you this afternoon, sir?
Good, sir.
How long did you work in radio?
I started in 1992,
All right.
so quite a while.
All right. And how long were you an on-air personality with, what's your Marco Mercedes in the morning?
Yes,
How long were you there for?
through 2015.
2015 from when?
Hey, Raven. Raven. I'm doing a special live stream in about 6 hours. Will you be there?
We started the show in March of 97.
Okay, so you did that show for 18 years?
Correct.
18 years. Imagine you got a chance to meet a lot of folks in 18 years doing radio.
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, you know, my colleague solicited from you, you know Blair Davies.
I do.
All right, you know her well, correct?
I know her well from a professional standpoint, yeah.
All right, and you did know that her roommate was Mr. McDonald's now ex-wife.
I know that now. I didn't know that back then.
Did Mrs. McDonald, the future ex-Mrs. McDonald, did she ever come to the radio station?
I am told now that she in fact did.
Oh, okay, so she was, you were told. You don't have any recollection of that.
No, sir, I don't.
All right. And what year did you leave the radio show?
Early 2015.
2015. Now, you were working for
1
an
o'clock
attorney by the name of
ish.
Alex Giabato, correct?
Was not at that time. I am now.
Okay, when did you start working for Mr. Giabato?
About a year ago, January 2019, about a year.
Now, I want to go through a few things because I'm a little confused. You reached out, and I want to understand, you initiated contact with Mr. McDonald,
Mm-hmm.
all right? Mr. McDonald had a life, you were the one who tapped him on the shoulder and said hello.
Yep.
Okay. Now, you sent over a Facebook message. This is your State's Exhibit 4 counsel. May I approach?
You may.
And this was the brief conversation between two strange men who were going through contentious divorces, correct?
What do you mean by a strange conversation?
I said this is the initial conversation between two men who are strangers, not any acquaintance with each other,
Correct.
regarding the divorce, their divorces.
Yes.
Okay? Now, that's the link he sent you so you could look at his videos, correct?
Correct.
Please show me in that conversation where he gave you permission to rummage his Google Drive for a year and a half and find whatever you found interesting and post it.
Do I show you something in this conversation where Mr. McDonald says you have the permission to rummage through my Google Drive? And I'm sorry, do what?
He gave you permission to look at the Google Drive for one specific reason, correct?
No, he did not say that.
He
Absolutely
said, sir, answer my question.
not. Okay.
He gave you permission to look at the Google Drive so you could watch the videos of his divorce proceedings.
There were no caveats, there were no asterisks to it. It was, you saw the email, there were 3 email links.
Show me in there where it said, pull whatever you want out of my Google Drive and post it to the world.
Show him the link.
Post it to the world and pull it out of my Google Drive does not exist in this conversation.
All right, so you would agree then that you were exceeding the scope of permission that Mr. McDonald
No.
gave you when you looked at his Google Drive, correct?
No, absolutely not.
Absolutely not. But you would agree that there's not a piece of paper anywhere in this case where it says you can pull out anything off my Google Drive and
Yes,
post
yes,
it.
there is, the
Well,
link.
as an example, if I can.
Sir, answer my question.
If somebody posts,
Answer my
Mr.
question.
Mueller, Mr. Mueller, we will not be raising our voice, myself or at any witness.
so let me answer your question. As an example, if somebody posts a YouTube link, you're not confined to that one video on YouTube, as you're free to take a look at all the videos on YouTube in that form.
Sure.
It's there, it's available.
You would agree.
There isn't anything that
But
says.
Mr. Lucero and Mr. Mueller, you have to let each other finish answering so we have a full and complete transcript.
So my point is, there isn't anything in there that says, don't look at the other videos here on YouTube.
Your Honor, approach. Sir, I'm laying before you every piece of paper that the state has marked and admitted so far in this case. Show me in that document
The
where
link.
Mr. McDonald gives you permission in writing to go through his Google Drive and post something.
The
I'm telling
link.
you that doesn't exist.
Yes, it
does not
does.
exist. So you would agree that your actions
My life's goal now, my whole life's goal from here on out, is to get on the witness stand with this guy questioning me.
exceed
No.
the scope of permission by Mr. McDonald.
Mr. Lucero, I remind you that you need to let him finish asking a question before you answer
I'm
it.
sorry.
You agree, sir, that nowhere in writing is there permission to do what you did?
Nowhere in writing.
All right.
Correct.
Now, you would agree that you and Mr. McDonald aren't co-workers.
Correct.
You agree that Mr. McDonald's wife, ex-wife, was at your radio station.
That's what I'm told. Counsel.
That's what you're told. And you sought him out.
No, that's not an accurate.
Because
no,
I
it's
would
not.
bury him.
Let's talk about
Bury
your
him.
professional experience, sir. 17 years of radio, 18 years of radio. You know how to edit radio, correct?
Mhm.
You know how to audit or edit MP3 files and reformat them.
Yes.
Now,
Get it checked out,
you
please,
used the
Anthony.
phrase during direct examination. And the phrase you used was a long while. You had to go through, and we're looking through Mr. McDonald's Google Drive, a long while. Why?
No, I think you may have misunderstood.
No, I didn't. I wrote down exactly. The
Here,
word
you guys
you
can
used
again.
was,
Please.
the exact phrase you used was, I had to go through his Google Drive a long while.
I
Now,
don't think
why
that
was
was I don't think that's an accurate statement of my testimony.
We'll get to read back later. That's my question. Now, what was so fascinating to you about Mr. McDonald's divorce? You've been in family court for 14 years, correct?
I have.
All right. Why did you find, let me rephrase, have you gone through other men's divorces and looked at their paperwork?
No.
No. Just this one. Okay. Any particular reason why this particular divorce, out of the thousands or tens of thousands of divorces done in family court every year, why did you pick this one to get involved in?
I would like to answer that question. I want to make sure you're ready for the answer.
Sir?
Because you're going to object every way, so make sure you want to know the answer to the question.
Your Honor, may we, right?
You may.
Yes, we can, Raven. We could do that. Absolutely. It probably wouldn't even be hard.
Yeah. Mr. Mueller, please rephrase your question.
Thank you, Your Honor. Now, these audio files that you believe were telephone calls, were you present when they were recorded?
Okay, hold on, Mr. Mueller. Are you withdrawing your previous question altogether?
I'll rephrase it. I'm going to come back. I will come back to this subject in a different.
All right, so let's withdraw for now.
For now.
All right, you may proceed.
The audio files that you believe were phone calls,
Mhm.
okay? Were you present when the phone calls were recorded?
No.
Did you, or do you know, as a fact, when those recordings were made?
No, I don't.
Do you know where those recordings were made?
No.
Do you know, in fact, who made those recordings?
No.
Now, you don't know when, you don't know where, you don't know how, and you don't know by who. But yet, you turn that piece of information, after you've reformatted it, over to a police officer. correct?
Mhm.
Oh my God, I called her and she came. Cha, when I first started this video today, before I even pressed play, I think it was before I even pressed play, I said maybe Cha will come by today. And there you are. Hi, Cha. We love you. Hey, listen. Cha, listen. I have a special live stream today in about 6 hours. It's a long one. Make sure you clear your calendar. It's going to be good.
I'm sorry, Mr. Cicero, that's a human nature thing to say, or
Sorry.
is that a yes?
Yes,
All right,
correct.
thank you,
Well,
appreciate that.
let me ask you a question, sir. Did the detective ask you how you came to suspect that these were phone calls?
Did the detective ask me, say that again?
Sir, you just said you don't know where, you don't know when, you don't know how, you don't know by whom. These files now get turned over to a police detective because you believe you found them on Mr. McDonald's Google Drive.
Correct.
Okay? Did the detective say, hey, how do I know these are phone calls? How do I know where these are from?
The detective asked for copies. The
Yeah.
detective came to me, so these weren't given to me, from me to the detective. Detective asked for them, and I sent them to him.
All right. So did anybody ask the obvious questions, like, how do we know this is a phone call?
I assume that's what you're all going to address here. No, the detective and I did not have that conversation.
Did not have that conversation. There are at least 5 recordings that you saw fit to turn over to the detective. How many other recordings were there on Google Drive?
Actual phone recordings, I think that
How
was the
many
extent.
recordings, sir? Not phone recordings.
I'm trying to answer your question. So I think everything that was on the Google Drive was turned over to the detective.
Everything on the Google Drive. How many kilobytes?
Let me clarify, every phone recording
Sir?
that was on the Google
A
Drive.
moment ago, you just testified that you're not sure they're phone calls, so they're audio recordings. Now, my question is, how many audio recordings were turned over to the detective?
They're obviously phone calls, but I listened.
Sir,
Anyone with an ounce
Your
of
Honor, I'm going to
answer
start this
question?
witness to answer my questions. The question was simple, how many audio files were turned over?
There were
You can
7.
answer, Mr. Cicero, you can answer the question regarding how many audio files were turned over.
I believe we saw 7 turned over.
7. Did you take any of Mr. McDonald's pictures of him and his kids and turn those over?
No.
Did
Yes.
you take over any
I hope
copies
you
of
have a
Mr.
great
McDonald's
time.
divorce case pleadings and turn those over to the detectives?
No, but what had happened?
Sir?
No, I didn't.
Now, this Nevada Court Watchers website, correct? That you participate in,
Yes.
it is basically a gossip circle in the modern era.
No.
No? You use snarky comments, like the Stevie Bowl, that's a derogatory term for Steve Sampson, correct?
Yes.
In fact, you've
Oh.
posted snarky comments on dozens.
Oh my God, this lawyer is rich. Oh my. I'm just going to press play. I just had to stop for a second because my blood pressure was going sky high.
If not hundreds of people, have you not?
No.
No? Let me ask you a question, sir. There's 2 factions that watch things done in family court, correct?
What do you mean by faction?
Well,
That
in
sounds
that
pretty
court
intense.
fight- Well, let me ask you a question.
Perfect. That's
You
the
know
best way to
individual
put
by the
it.
name of, what's his name? What's Willard's name?
Marshall Willett?
Marshall Willett, thank you, sir.
That's one of your favorite names.
Do you know Mr. Marshall Willett?
I know of him.
You know of him. Have you ever met him?
I met him one time, yes.
One time.
Yes.
Does Mr. Willett have any editorial control over Nevada Court Watchers?
No.
Now, Mr. Willett is in a feud with Mr. Sampson, is he not?
You would need to ask him, sir.
Okay, are you familiar with the Stanson-Willett feud that was just argued in front of the Nevada Supreme Court 2 weeks ago?
Yes.
Judge, I object to relevance.
That's his name.
I'll tie it back in if I could get just a couple questions.
You can
Judge.
approach and explain.
Certainly.
he doesn't exactly help.
That objection is sustained.
Sir, how many uncomplimentary posts have you put on Nevada Court Watch regarding Mr. McDonald?
I don't know.
I don't know, as in too many to remember?
What part did you not get? I don't know.
Sir, I'm asking the questions. Answer my questions.
And
How
your
many
answer is,
comments have you
I
put on
don't-
the website?
No.
Mr. Mueller and Mr. DeCero.
More
Will
than
not
10?
Mr.
Hi,
Mueller,
BC.
we're going to take a brief recess, so we can have the jury exit the courtroom, please.
All rise for the jury.
Judge, please get him. Get him, Judge, please.
Okay, let the record reflect the jury has left the courtroom. Mr. Mueller and Mr. DeCero, I will not tolerate argumentative behavior or snarky remarks or unprofessional remarks in the presence of the jury, much less in my presence. If you haven't been paying attention, I will let you know that the jury is snarking and laughing based on the exchange between both of you. I am admonishing you now that if you do not stop the behavior that you're engaging in, I will hold one or both of you in contempt of court. You have a duty and an obligation to, Mr. Mueller, comply with the rules of professional conduct, and you are, if you haven't already violated them, you're certainly dipping right into that. Mr. DeCero, I understand that you're facing cross-examination. I'm asking you to respond to the questions, and I'm instructing you both to make sure that you listen to the question asked, let the individual finish answering the question or asking the question before you respond. Do we understand?
Yes,
Sir.
Yes.
All right. We are going to, since we have let the jury go ahead and go outside, I'm going to go ahead and let them use the facilities that they need. So I didn't get to admonish them, however. So actually, before we do that, can you see if anyone needs to use the facilities? And then if not, we can bring them back in and we'll take a break in a little bit.
A couple did say they had to use the bathroom, so I'll just
All right,
be
I'll remind
waiting
them of
for
the
them.
admonishment when they come back in. We can get ease until the jury comes back in.
Is it okay if I do the same, or is that right?
Yes, you may. We'll actually have you go into the back to
I
use
can
the
show Mark that.
facilities.
Okay.
Yes, if you could, I appreciate that.
Still whispering.
Is the jury ready?
They already know.
Okay, great. Thank you. Go ahead and bring them in.
Absolutely not, Bobby. No. Never. No reason, ever, ever.
All rise for the jury.
I know I said we're going to do an hour, but I'm enjoying myself, so let's get it going.
Jury is all present, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. Please be seated. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I did not get to read you that admonishment about not talking or conversing amongst yourselves or with anyone else about this trial, or the usual admonishment about not reading, watching, or listening, or doing any research about this trial. I remind you that that admonishment stands in place throughout the course of the trial, and it is your duty as jurors to inform me if anyone has violated that admonishment during the course of the trial. So I remind you of that now. And with that, we can go ahead and resume cross-examination.
Thank you, Your Honor. Upon reflection, I don't believe I have any further questions.
All right, thank you very much. Mr. Rahman, do you have any redirect from Mr. DeCero?
Very briefly.
All right.
Mr. Mueller, on his cross-examination of you, said, did you seek out Mr. McDonald? Do you remember that?
I remember that, yes.
Okay. Did you become aware of him by seeking him out?
No.
Okay, how did you become aware of him?
As we initially talked about here on the stand, Mr. McDonald had been seeking the help of others. He had been seeking the input of others through the War Declared on Family Court page on Facebook, through the Veterans in Politics page on Facebook, by posting hearing videos. We didn't post those videos, Mr. McDonald did, on YouTube, the website of Veterans in Politics, so forth and so on. He was making his case a public spectacle. So nobody in our group, myself included, sought him out.
Okay, and when you say he was asking, did you say asking questions? Sometimes I don't quote people correctly.
Was Mr. McDonald asking questions?
Yeah, when he was posting these things,
Yes.
was he just saying, hey, look at this, or was he asking for advice or input?
Both.
Okay.
Both.
And is it under those circumstances that you then direct messaged him through the Facebook?
That's correct, yeah.
Okay. So you didn't search him out per se?
No.
No. And then with regard to the links that he sent you, we looked at a document, it's one of the court's exhibits, right?
Yes,
It was the invitation to see things in his Google Drive, right?
that's correct.
Okay. Was there folders that were given access to you?
Yes,
Okay. Was there a file given to you?
yes.
Is that an Excel document, something about a divorce log?
The log, I believe, was a Word document,
Okay.
yeah, laying out the chronology of events in his case.
Okay. So 2 folders in one document.
Yes,
And the appeal file, folder, didn't have much in it, did it?
not that I recall. I think that was as advertised. It was limited to appellate things he was trying to put together.
Okay.
The court video folder was a different story.
And you kind of said it had everything and anything in there.
Yeah, it did.
And you were given full access to that folder?
Correct.
Now, were you given full access to its entire Google Drive?
No,
Just 2 folders and 1 file?
2 folders and 1 Word document.
And were you told by Michael, you can only look at this for 30 days, 60 days, whatever?
No,
Okay. You have some familiarity with Google Drive?
I do, yes.
Sorry,
You use
Bobby,
it?
that
I
was
do.
an accident.
Are you a paying member of it?
Yes,
Okay, so you pay for extra storage other than whatever they give you for free?
that's correct, yeah. Use it for my business. my
Right.
work.
Can you terminate a person's access to a Google Drive? Once
Yes.
you've given them a link?
You can.
Okay. Did that ever occur between you and Michael?
No,
So he never just cut off your link where it stopped working?
not that I'm aware of. No.
Nothing further?
Thank you. Any follow-up questions based on those questions, Mr. Wheeler?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. All right, are we release this witness?
Yes.
All right, thank you very much for being sent down. State, you may call your next witness.
State called Detective Colby Karcher.
All right. We're going to have this witness testify just in abundance of caution. I'm going to have him face the jury, so perhaps it will be helpful for you to stand where that chair is next to the microphone to question him. We have, this is a law enforcement officer, and so we sometimes limit what is videotaped of law enforcement officers when they're testifying. The person in the back of the room understands that, is complying with our order not to videotape him. And in this instance, the cameras have been modified to prevent his face from being fully recognizable on the videotape. And I'm also having him, I'll instruct him when he comes up here to face you all, that way his face is turned towards you. Okay?
Thank you.
All right, come on in, detective. Good afternoon.
You do sound swear to testify you about the shall be the truth, the truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes.
Please be seated, and then state and spell your name for the record.
Okay.
I'm a server. I don't get health insurance.
K-O-L-B-Y, K-A-R-T-C-H-N-E-R.
All right, so if I gotta have you face the jury, that way you're to the side there. And Mr. Wheeler, I know it's hard to see him, so you're welcome to stand over there if you'd like to have a look at the witness.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, when you're ready, state.
I'm just preparing to use it.
Okay.
Detective, how are you doing this afternoon?
Good, how you doing?
Good. What do you do for a living?
I work with Las Vegas Mental too.
Is he sideways enough?
Yeah. Can you pull that microphone, Microphone. Oh, there we go. And then a little closer to him. Perfect. There we go. Maybe you could face that microphone.
Bobby and Raven, how far away do you live from each other? Because that would be epic. That would be epic. You guys should meet up. Don't meet up in real life, guys. Don't. These are people on the internet. You don't know who they are. Maria. Hi, Maria.
Thank you.
Don't have a blurry dot for him then?
We don't. We're not that fancy.
You work for the police department.
Yes, sir.
How long have you done that?
In 3 days, it'll be 20 years.
20 years, congratulations.
Thank you.
And so that means you started in 1990?
2000.
Oh, 2000.
Yeah.
Time's getting weird. 2000. Did you start as a patrolman?
Yes, sir.
And what do you do now?
I'm a detective now for the Northwest Area Command.
How long have you been a detective?
4 years.
And Northwest Area Command is what part of town?
That's basically Cheyenne and the 215. So it's basically the northwest side of town.
Okay, does that go from some street northward and some street westward?
Yes, we're getting ready to open up a new area command, so it's going to change our parameters basically, but it's Charleston, everything basically Charleston to the north, and basically 95, not quite to Rancho, west.
Okay, so you go up to Mount Charleston almost?
Yes.
All right, as a detective for the Northwest Area Command, do you put more investigation into cases than, say, a patrol officer?
Yes.
So you do follow up on cases that come into the Area Command?
Yes.
Okay. And in this particular case, are you the detective assigned to investigate this case against Michael McDonald?
Yes.
And was this case reported on March 29th of 2018?
Yes.
And how did that become initiated?
Typically what happens is a victim will either call the police or come into an area command and create the report of the allegation of a crime. And that will be reviewed by a sergeant, and then it will be assigned to whomever to follow up. In this case, this one was assigned to me.
Do you recall when you started to actually put some investigation into the case?
It was shortly after I had received the case.
Okay. So would it be fair to say April of 2018?
Yes.
And in your investigation, who was the person reporting? So the
The
complaining
victim.
witness?
The victim, Candace, was the person reporting.
Okay. Did you contact her?
Yes, I did.
And how did you contact her?
I called her on the phone, contacted her via phone.
Okay. Did you also have email correspondence with Ms. Candace McDonald?
Yes.
Okay. May I approach the mic?
You may.
Showing you what's been marked as state's proposed exhibit 7. Do you recognize the information on this document?
Yes.
Okay, there's 2 pages, please wait a second.
Yes.
Okay, what do you recognize this to be?
This was information that was provided to me by Candace, reference our conversations. She talked about YouTube videos that have been posted by the suspect, and also gave me information on how to contact Mark this year.
And what's the date on these emails?
The date is April 12th, 2018.
Okay. And this is a fair and accurate copy of the correspondence between you and Candace?
Yes.
Move for mission of exhibit 7.
Objection, hearsay.
Sorry?
Hearsay.
All right. And if I may expect the document, Mr. Rahman.
Sure. If needed, I can just, this is a partial foundation, I'll solidify it. Or Ms. Bishop.
All right, I will admit it, subject to link up with Ms. Louise.
All right, I'll return from public.
Thank you. So that objection is overruled for now, subject to link up.
Okay, so as you described, you had some correspondence, you talked on the telephone with Candace, there's some emails between you and her about what had occurred,
Yes.
and then you sought out Mark,
Yes.
and you were provided contact for Mark information, phone number, email, by whom?
Janice?
And did you end up corresponding with Mark?
Yes.
Okay. Did you receive some audio files from Mark?
Yes, I did.
And how did he send those to you?
Via email.
Okay. Showing you what's been admitted as State's Exhibit 2. And is this you on the email? Colby Kolchner, K6632K?
Yes, that is me.
Okay. So he sent you a number of emails with files,
Yes.
and were you able to play all of the files?
At first, I was not.
Okay. How did you remedy that?
I called him and asked him to reformat those and send them to me.
After he was able to reformat them, were you able to?
Yes, I'll be able to listen to them.
Okay. And that's on a department computer?
Yes.
All right. With regard to you eventually ended up submitting a request for warrant for criminal charges in this case, right?
Yes, I did.
And this particular crime, unlawful recording of wire communications, does there have to be consent?
Given? Yes. By
Okay.
both parties in the conversation, yes.
Did you ask Ms. McDonald if she had consented or was aware that she was being recorded?
I did.
Okay. What did she say?
She said no, did not give consent, and matter of fact said that because of the nature.
With regard to the recordings themselves, you listened to them?
Yes.
Was there any indication, hallmark, notification of any kind of recording going on or consent for recording?
No.
Okay. When you submit a case, do you provide the evidence and a summation of why to the district attorney's office?
Yes.
Okay. Did you do so in this case?
Yes, I did.
In this particular case, did you seek out to interview Michael McDonald?
No, I did not.
Why did you not do that?
At Military Command, we have a policy reference. Typically, it falls within domestic violence and restraining order cases. We try to avoid the escalation of violence. For example, if we contact a subject who has been in a fight with his wife, and we call the house, and that escalates in violence, we've actually had homicides based on our attempting to get further. In this particular case, although they did not live together at the time of this incident, still felt that there was a possibility of escalation of violence, and therefore I did not.
Okay, so abundance of caution, police policy, at least within your area, command is, if it's a domestic related, don't contact the suspect.
Eastern
Yes.
Standard
Okay.
Time?
So for that reason, there's no interview of Michael McDonald?
That's correct.
Okay. Was there anybody who, just one second.
I don't know if Mueller can write.
Detective, were you influenced by any outside parties to actually investigate this case and submit something onward?
No.
Okay, so you had no powerful, politically connected people say, hey, this is something that needs to happen?
No.
Okay. Is there a lawful way to record telephone calls?
Yes.
And how's that?
Ask for, you have to give some
Hi, Green Sue. I love when you're green. Victoria, are you still here? Are you guys working today?
kind of a verbiage at the front of it saying that this phone call is going to be recorded, or ask them, as you talk to them, to ask for consent to record a phone call. And we actually run across this a lot in our restraining order cases, where our victims, in their attempt to prove that they're being harassed, we have to advise them not to record the suspect that's harassing them, because it is illegal to do so without their consent.
Okay. All right, I will pass the witness.
Thank you. Cross-examination.
Detective, you used the phrase just a moment ago, in the front of the call.
Typically,
All right. Now, you've been doing this for 20 years, though you don't look like you're old enough to.
Thank you.
One of the things about being a police officer is figuring out when someone's telling the truth, and sometimes people lie to police officers, correct?
Correct.
All right, in fact, that's the nature of the work. People will enlist the police to do their nefarious bidding, and if you're not careful, you could be an unwitting pawn in the scheme, correct?
Absolutely.
All right, and you're aware of that, and every police officer on the street very quickly becomes aware of that, correct?
Yes.
All right, now, you haven't done a lot of illegal phone call cases, have you?
No, sir.
All right.
They are unusual.
They are unusual. Now, this case was unusual in a couple other aspects, was it not?
How so?
Well, the conversations are audio files, correct?
Yes.
And they had to be
Yes, Raven.
reformatted, correct?
Yes.
Now, did that cause you some concern as an investigating detective?
No.
Well, that's changing the nature of the evidence, is it not? Reformatting it?
In a way, but our computers are so specific on what they will allow that it's a common problem you run into, whether it's surveillance footage from a robbery or something like this.
All right, so you weren't concerned about the reformatting. Well, let me ask you a couple questions. Did you listen to all of these audio files?
I'm thinking about canceling my live stream today just so that I can go pick up Raven and drive Raven to Bobby.
And did you listen, and I know it might have been hard, but I gotta ask you an honest question. Did you really listen to every second of every one of those audio files?
Like play them and listen to them?
Yes, sir. I mean, actually listen to them?
Yes.
And you actually were able to pay attention to them all the way through?
Yes.
Okay. Did you notice anything unusual about those audio recordings? None of them began with the word
Bobby,
hello,
you'll love it.
That's true.
and none of them ended in the word goodbye.
That's true.
Now, did it occur to you, or the fact that there was no opening greeting or closing greeting, that maybe they weren't complete recordings?
Yes.
And you can record somebody on the phone. If I call up and I say, hey, so you know, before we get started, I'm recording this, correct?
Yes.
Now, if I were of nefarious means and ill will, I could simply edit out that first part of the conversation, and then I'd have an audio file of me on the phone looking like I violated the law.
Possibly, yes.
All right, so you occasionally experience that, like you have to instruct people not to do that when they're getting harassed.
Yes.
All right, so this actually is a thing in your world.
Yes.
Okay. Now, when you had five audio recordings without a hello and goodbye, did you think, maybe I should follow up on that?
How do you mean?
Well, I mean, one conversation, or maybe someone hangs up angrily, go to hell, and they hang up on them. But all five conversations, they don't begin with a hello and goodbye? None of them?
Lots of people speak differently to each other.
I love
especially when
it.
they're angry.
I love
Okay,
that.
Words of love, I understand. Let me ask you a couple other questions. Where were these recordings made?
I'm assuming in the state of Nevada.
Assuming. Isn't that the word that should put all detectives to fear? Assume nothing? Isn't that what a good detective has on his dashboard?
Yes.
All right. Okay. So you assume that they were made in Nevada. As a matter of fact, do you know?
I believe they were.
That's not what I asked the detective. We'll go back again. Do you know that they were made in Nevada?
I believe the evidence of the call suggests that they were.
All right,
There was
and-
background information happening within the call that
Who made the-
Candace was able to
All right, well, let me ask a
tell
question.
us that they were made here.
I want to get your opinion here.
Okay.
You're the 20-year police officer with experience. We'll talk with Candace, will be here in a few minutes, and we'll hear your view.
Okay.
Now, you don't know the fact that these were made in Nevada, do you?
I don't have any registrations of that. No.
Okay. Now, did you go back and look at the edit trail on the audio files? Have they in fact been edited?
I don't know how to do that.
You don't know how to do that.
No, sir.
All right, do you know when these recordings were made?
I had a window of time.
that was suggested by other people?
Yes.
Was there anything intrinsically in the recordings themselves that suggested when they were made?
What state, Raven, what state is that?
Now, there are, in fact, other ways people get reported. Back in the days when we were kids, you could have an 8-track cassette, or, God forbid, grandpas used to have the old reel-to-reel.
Yes.
All right, do you know as a simple statement of fact that these audio recordings weren't actually phone call recordings?
They sounded like phone call recordings, but no.
All right. So, when we get right down to it, sir, we don't know when, we don't know why, we don't know how, and we don't really know by whom. Nothing, correct?
I don't agree with all of that.
But you would agree that there's certainly a lot of information missing in this case?
There are some. Yes.
Okay. What do you think is missing in this case?
Well, the things that are missing, that's where I relied on my victim to fill in the gaps.
Okay. Now, since you had and opined a few minutes ago on the nature of the domestic violence calls, there are certain characteristics in, as a practical aspect of policing, you get to understand human nature pretty well, correct?
Yes.
All right. In fact, you guys are kind of Jedi Knights of psychology in the field.
We try.
I'm trying, okay. Now, calls where ex-wives are involved, anything comes to mind, something a senior detective would tell a young patrol officer? Sometimes they're prone to exaggeration?
Everyone's prone to exaggeration when they're upset.
Okay, when they're upset. Now, did you go out and get a recording from Ms. Ruiz?
Who?
Mr. McDonald's ex-wife?
No.
Did you get a recorded statement from her, or a taped statement, so you could actually kind of bounce the details off?
We're talking about Candace, right?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't know her last name. No.
All right. And I know you guys are busy, but realistically, start to finish, how much time do you really think you put in this case before you submitted it for prosecution?
It actually took quite a while.
All right, what did you spend all the time doing then?
Getting hold of people, getting in contact with people, getting audio files changed over. They have schedules, I have different cases I'm working.
Well, I mean, time passes, I understand, but I mean, realistically, if you sat down, start to finish, 3 hours, 2 hours?
Oh, more than that.
All right. Did you get a statement, a recorded statement from anybody?
No, I didn't need one. I had audio, or I had written statements from his party.
He lies
Okay.
profusely. That's what he
So,
does.
the tapes themselves, in the tape transcription, or the audio tapes themselves, there's actually nothing in there that definitively proves even that it was a phone recording, correct?
No.
Now, the fact that the person who submitted this to you was an expert in audio editing, did that cause you some concerns?
I don't know his background. So
Okay.
he's an expert in that. That's
Were you unaware that he was an 18-year disc jockey with extensive radio and audio file experience? You didn't know that?
No.
You hearing that for the first time now?
Yes.
Did you in fact explore his motivations in submitting or soliciting you and giving this information to you?
Motivation from him?
Yes, sir.
No, because he didn't submit it to me initially. He submitted it to her.
Submit to her.
He didn't come to the police, she did.
All right, when people come forward to talk with the police, you always have the people skeptical eye as to why exactly they're there, correct?
I would hope there's a nature, but yes.
All right. You would agree that, sir, and just a couple last questions, I'll let you go. You would agree, sir, that there's a lot of investigation that could have been done in this case still?
No, I feel it was pretty completed.
All right, then where was the recording made?
I did a search warrant on that. We did not discover the whereabouts of that location at that time.
Okay. Then when were the recordings made?
I don't know. All I can
Are
tell you is
you-
what the victim told me when they were made.
And you assumed, that was your word, not mine, you assumed that they were in Nevada?
Based on information within the phone calls, yes.
I don't believe I have anything further.
Thank you very
I
much.
get the court's indulgence for just one moment. Go ahead, Ruth.
That happened to me once.
Redirect examination.
All right, this is a good stopping point. Now that he's done, we don't we don't care what the prosecutor has to say. He's straight and boring. we just want to hear this guy ask the stupidest questions ever. All right. I didn't set up OJ yet because I'm stupid, but I will in a second. So we'll be in OJ in less than 5. Thank you so much for coming out. I hope to see you all in about 4-5 hours now, something like that. It's gonna be great. I'm telling you, it's really good. So get some sleep so that you're ready, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye, guys. Thanks.
Got these life echoes, digital dreams. Through the screen, her blue eyes gleam. Wicked humor, sharp as a knife. Her stream sparks electric light. Late night when the world sleeps, she's the friend that always keeps. Giggles roll like thunder loud. She stands out in any crowd. Kathy's laugh cuts through the gloom. Eyes blue like a summer's bloom. Her humor dark and twisted sharp. In a way, there's no alarm. Street tales waiting to the night. Her laughter feels just right. Even when my world turns gray, with a giggle she lights the way. Her eyes near a sky so blue. In her jokes there's a truth so true. With each string she brings the light, turns dark days into bright. Kathy's laugh cuts through the gloom. Eyes blue like a summer's bloom. Her humor dark and twisted sharp. In a way, there's no alarm. Streaming tales late into the night. Her laughter feels just right. Even when my world turns gray, with a giggle she lights the way. Kathy's laugh cuts through the gloom. Eyes blue like a summer's bloom. Her humor dark and twisted sharp. In a way, there's no